My name is Dr. Kathy Liaraquino, and I'm the Associate Vice Chancellor of Global Engagement here at UNCP. I'm so excited to be a part of this wonderful collaboration with Campus Engagement and Leadership, where we get to display different students' talents, talk about their education, and also their experiences of coming from different countries. These series of conversations across borders are a wonderful opportunity for all of us to learn about other parts of the world, learn more about the United States and how it's seen from an international perspective, but most importantly, just to have fun and gain some new information. I'm so excited today to be able to interview one of my favorite international students from Nigeria, Favour. And I'd like to take this moment to have Favour introduce herself and also let you know more about who she is and where she's come from. Favour?
Hi, Dr. Aquino. It's good to see you. My name is Yemisi Favour Olubi. I live here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm originally from Nigeria in West Africa. I'm from Kogi State in Nigeria, and I moved here 11 years ago for school. I went to school in Kansas, Pittsburgh, Kansas, and I am now a nurse in Tulsa. I've been a nurse for almost 7 years, and I specialize in cardiac ICU.
So Favour, can you tell us a little bit why you chose nursing and also why you chose to study in the United States?
Okay. As a child, I didn't know I wanted to do nursing. It was actually, I lived with my grandmother for a couple of years when I was in middle school. And she fell sick at the end of my stay that I had to leave because she had dementia, and we didn't know anything about it. Mm-hmm. We took her to the hospital. There was little to no knowledge what was going on with her. People thought she was crazy, and that just broke my heart. And she died from it, not knowing what was actually wrong with her. So that just made me think that maybe if I can learn more, if I know more, then I would know how to take care of my family and friends better. So that kind of made me start thinking about the health system of Nigeria, how very, very lacking it is. So, and when I finished college, I went to nursing in Nigeria. I have a nursing degree from Nigeria, West Africa, but it still wasn't what I wanted. I felt like I needed to know more. I needed to learn more. So I just applied all across the world.
And you ended up in Kansas. Who would have thought when you literally applied all over the world?
Yes, I did. I applied to Europe. I applied here. I applied to Canada. But the school I saw, and I was looking for very good nursing school with cheaper price, cheaper rates. And I found the school in Kansas where I met Dr. Aquino. Aww. And I went back. I started all over again, a nursing degree, a 4 years nursing program. And now I work with elderly people, and I'm learning more, Recently, my mom got sick, and I was able to bring her here because now I know more. I know how to help, So that's my whole why for going into nursing.
Well, that's a beautiful story and very inspirational, especially because you did all of your nursing requirements, got your degree back at home, and you literally had to do it all over again in the United States. And as you know, my mom is also a retired nurse, and she did the same thing in the Philippines. She went to nursing school, did everything, and then came to America and had to study and do nursing all over again. So I want to commend you for your perseverance, but also just your goal setting and meeting those goals, because it's not easy to be doing school over and over and over again, especially in another language and to adjust to a new culture. I just think you're amazing and so strong. So awesome job, Favour. And the reason behind that is really, something passionate and personal. So you're really contributing and helping others. And I just think that that's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So a lot of people don't necessarily know things about Nigeria, or what we do know maybe from the news, from social media. Maybe they've eaten some Nigerian food somewhere at a restaurant here in the States.
Yeah.
But part of what I wanted to know is just to be able to let people know more about your country. So are there any pastimes or hobbies that are there in Nigeria that you didn't see here in the States, or either some other pastimes, activities, or sports that are also common in Nigeria that you see here in the States?
Yes. Let me talk about the ones I don't see it often. I see some of it, but not as much. We like how we passed time while we were growing up was outside of the house. When you're in the house, you're either doing chores or schoolwork or sleeping. When you're not, you're outside running around with your friends and playing soccer. Every kid, yeah, every kid played soccer because regardless of the gender too, we had the land. All you needed was a football, and we played soccer all day, all night. And I think this is why Nigeria is one of the countries. We have 3 championships in the soccer. We're world champions, and it's just a game that we played a lot, and we call it there football.
Mm-hmm.
So it was shocking. I did not know about the American football. So it was shocking to me when I came here and I saw what football is in America. And I'm like, no, that's not football. Then, of course, they told me, no, what you play there is soccer. We have soccer too. But that's what we did. We played soccer. We ran a lot. We did, we did competitions. We ran across the street a lot. That was all we did as kids, and played tags. It was more of active activities. We were all outside. When you had to play, you had to be outside with your friends and neighbors. We did not. I never had like computer games. So my son has those now, but I never had those growing up. When you wanted to play, you had to be outside with your friends, just running around. And I'll say the sports in Nigeria, we have basketball, so that we have in common with the United States. Of course, it's not huge as soccer, but we play a lot of soccer. That's our major sports. So when you watch the soccer sports, look for Nigeria because we play good soccer.
Nigerian flag out there.
Yeah.
Well, do you find, or when you came to the United States, as you were meeting more Americans, learning more about the culture, and just talking to people about Nigeria and where you're from, did you find that there were any misconceptions that you felt other people's had about your country regarding maybe resources, lifestyle, anything you want to share?
Definitely. I see that when I came here, I see that the Nigeria that is being portrayed online is not what I knew, or it's not what I know. So I think one misconception that I know is that I see or that I've experienced is when people say, "Oh, you're from Nigeria and you speak English. When did you come here?" So I had to tell them Nigerians speak English. English is our formal language. So every Nigerian speaks English. We're taught English from preschool. The only difference is we speak the British English because we're colonized by the British. And every classes are taught in English languages, formal events are held in English. And so in school, we learn English as English language, just like you learn social studies and other courses, but we have to take like a full course of English. And we have to learn one extra language from Nigeria. Nigeria has its own primary languages. We have 3 major languages, although we have 500 more. But we have the 3 major ones, is the Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa. So when you go to school as a Nigerian, as a kid from preschool, you have to start with English and choose one of those languages to learn. So me growing up, I learned Yoruba and I learned English language. So when you meet a Nigerian, or even when Nigerians meet themselves, we speak in English. We have to introduce, oh, I speak English. What language? What other language do you speak? You know. So when you meet a Nigerian, instead of asking, oh, you speak English, or what language do you speak? What is can you speak Nigerian? No, it's not speaking Nigerian. You can ask a question like, what other languages, or what other, do you speak any of those 500 languages in Nigeria? I think that would make you sound cool and knowledgeable.
Can you say maybe like good morning and good afternoon, or hello?
Yeah.
How are you? Yes, yeah, I think that would be interesting. Yes.
So I'm from the western part of Nigeria, and I speak Yoruba. So Yoruba, when you say good morning in Yoruba, you say ekaro, ekaro, good morning. And when you want to say good night, you say odaro, odaro, good night. Or if you want to say thank you, you say eshe, eshe. Thank you. So that's one misconception that I've seen around. And another one is that Nigeria is primitive. Like they ask you, oh, you see lions on the streets? You know, do you see lions on the street? Do you pet lions and stuff? No. I mean, I've seen lions before in Nigeria, but it was at the zoo. You know, if I see lions on the street, that's like an emergency. You know? So we don't have, I mean, we have the game reserve. These are places where the animals are. They're in their natural habitats, but it's segregated from the where people live. It's like a safari. People go now and visit a safari. It's people don't live in that neighborhood. They reserve those lands just for the animals, you know, to be able to be in their natural place. But we don't have animals on the streets. We don't, if you see an animal on the street, maybe for you to see a goat on the street, you have to go to the countryside. Then maybe you see a goat walking around the street. But we don't have lions. We don't have monkeys jumping on, on the street. No, there's much development. We have urbanized, society. The country is growing rapidly, just like every other developing countries. So that's another misconception that I see.
One of the interviews I did last year with one of your former friends, or I said former classmates, still current friends, we're talking about in regards to, like, they would be asked questions like, oh, do you have electricity over there in South America? Or do you live in the trees there in South America? So it's always funny and interesting when I hear from all of my international kids, some of the questions and misconceptions of all over the world that are asked of them when they come and study in the States. So, yeah,
and that's why we're here,
Yes, exactly. Yes. To learn. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So in further our learning about Nigeria, I wanted to ask you, can you talk a bit about how your country is influenced by different things? And so I know, different with regarding tribal ties, religion, gender roles, but just sharing some of that happens within Nigeria that maybe people might not know, or may also have some sort of assumption about it that may be inaccurate.
Okay. Nigeria is greatly influenced by population, because it's by religion and tradition. I think we have our own tradition where, which I also think these traditions are influenced by religion. And I'll say, for the most part, religion has brought hope to Nigeria. Most people, both to the public and the private lives, I think people just find their hope through religion. They have something to look forward to, something to believe. So I'll say it's a good thing, although it also has its own negative effects on the society. I think the male, and how this is affected the society, is that the male is always viewed as a dominant force,
Mm-hmm.
and while the female is the subordinate. This could be, I think this is as a result of the tradition and the religion together, because some religions just believe the man is the head while the woman is, so I think this just has a huge impact on the society, how women are viewed, how they're treated, and just as a whole. So this has great impact. And when you're thinking that, oh, okay, the tradition is getting better, we're getting enlightened, but the religious aspect of it is still there, and people just people hold really dearly to these religious beliefs, and it has really impacted how women are viewed, how women are treated in the society.
And so as a result of that, talking about the gender roles, different tribal ties, religion, how do you think that has influenced people's ideas of leadership and change making in regards to trying to move forward, keeping what's traditional, but at the same time trying to be progressive? Can you talk about that?
I mean, the world now is a global village. So as Nigerian, we're able to see experience the world. Even right where we are in Nigeria, we're able to see how America is improving, and how other countries are doing and advancing. So Nigeria is a rapidly growing country, so we also are trying to, we have women now that are governors of state. That never used to be. We have women in places of authority, women as, we don't have a female vice president yet, but we have, women in places of authority. And but this has not been easy, just, the tradition, because even the one thing with urbanization is, even with growth, people still try to hold dearly to that tradition. And it's unfortunate that it's the negative part of the tradition that we try to hold on to, where, because of course, when things like this, when it actually benefits a particular group of people, then it's difficult. They don't want to let that go, So they hold on to, I don't think it's necessarily because they want to maintain the tradition, but it's just how it benefits a class of people and a group of people. So, but there have been improvement over the years. We've seen, women in places of authority, women in our government, we see more women, and we see more women, standing up for themselves, and women are able to live, unlike before, women are not even able to peacefully leave an abusive relationship, an abusive marriage. But we see that happening, that women are able to stand up for themselves and say no to things that do not, benefit them. And without being, of course, the environment, even women like them still shun them for this. But it's improving. It's improving. Like I said, the world is a global village, and we're learning. And this is why we invite the world to come. I think when these things are exposed to the world, then we can have, people can learn, people can understand, So it's improving, but of course, we still have these problems.
Right. What do you think, Favour, was the big shift or something that happened to be able to start that momentum to have women be able to go into these roles, reach for their goals, leave abusive marriages, just things of that sort? What do you think changed that?
I really think it's education and just globalization, traveling, people visiting other places and learning. Just like me, I moved all the way across the country to learn. So many things I've learned here that I never knew, just because, your environment shapes you. You're a product of your environment. If you stay in a particular place, that's all you know. That's what you think is right. That's where that's what your values develop from. So I think it's just education. People are educating themselves more. They're getting more open-minded, and we're collaborating with other countries, to see how they do things, because we're third world country. So you have to look up to countries like America, like Europe, like what are they doing that is making them thrive. So these are the things that we learn, and try to incorporate in our own system. And there have been a lot of conflicts about this, like, the Western world is influencing us. But I think, okay, that might have its own negative effect, but I think for the most part, it's helping us, with liberation. Women are, liberated these days, and they're educating themselves. Unlike before, now women could not. The men would educate himself, learn things, then come home and teach the wife. But now, while the woman stays home and make babies and do all of that and do house chores, but not anymore. Now, women are lecturers in colleges. They get their education, they travel, and they see places. They just don't stay home to make babies anymore. So I think it's just learning and enlightenment. People are getting more enlightened, and if it's working for them, then it can work for us. So,
well, I've always seen you as such a strong and inspirational woman, and so as I said, I very much respect you and admire you. So I was wondering, though, because of what you grew up in with the traditions and the values that were there and instilled with you, but then now you've been in the States for a long time, and you also have grown and changed, right? I'm sure you're a different woman now than you were before. Right? So I'm just curious, how have you been able to take what you learned from the past and also keep those values that you feel that are dear to you, but at the same time assimilate or also meld and mold into someone different to continue to be a strong woman, but in different circumstances, but not losing who you are and still what you believe in, but also kind of shedding the parts that maybe weren't your favorite.
Yeah, of course, it's been difficult. I must say, it's been difficult because I spent 26 years of my life in that culture. So moving here and learning new things, I'm learning it's difficult for my body. It's difficult for my head to know that, wow, this is right. But I'm open to change. I mean, if I could travel all the way here, it's because I wanted something different. I want the change. I want to learn more. What I do is, I read, I listen to people, that are like me, that have been in my situation, and I try to. There are things here. There things here that I see that help me, as a woman, particularly, that if I did not, this culture has offered me my ability to be independent. This is not something a Nigerian woman can easily say. Just the word independence, the way it's viewed here, it's not how it's viewed in Nigeria. When you say you're an independent woman, it's not seen as a good thing. Most times they see it as, oh, you don't want to depend on a man. You don't want to. And Nigeria it's not an individualistic society like it is here. Here, it's an individualistic society. People are dependent on on themselves, on their ability, but still know how to ask for help, which I think is a good thing. We all need help. We all should be able to ask for help, but not depend on other people, for what we can do, and that's how I see it. So I've been able to, what I'm learning to do and teaching my son is just the ability to be independent. If you can do it, do it. And when you have problems, know how to ask for help. But so these, I don't think I have very much of growing up in Nigeria, which I would not necessarily blame on Nigeria, but just the culture, the environment that I grew up in as a female. As a female, I had big brothers that, did everything for me. I came here not even knowing how to drive because the men drove. My dad drove all the time, or my brothers drove all the time, or my ex-husband drove all the time. But just now, I think I feel empowered, and I feel like I could live anywhere in the world. I could go and I'll be okay anywhere in the world, just because I have the skills that I have, that I've been able to learn just within the short period of time, just the decade that I've been here. I've been able to learn so many skills that I would not have had, being in Nigeria, just because we think it's not necessary for a woman to have those skills. And I think the really cool thing about it is trying to raise my son differently. Try to raise my son to be an independent young man and still be able to be family oriented. Because I think that's a good thing. Nigerians are family oriented, and not just your immediate family. The extended family are viewed as your immediate family. Even when you marry, their family become your family. So they're really family oriented, and I'm trying to still maintain that value because I love family. So I try to teach my son the value of being family oriented and still being independent at the same time, and just going for whatever you want. You can go for it regardless. If he says, oh, only women can do this or only men can do it, you can be anything you want to be regardless of your gender.
Well, I know firsthand you're doing a fantastic job raising Daniel on your own. So I also want to commend you for that, because it's not easy being a single mother. So wonderful job with that.
Thank you.
I just wanted to ask, do you have any like female Nigerian leaders that you like or really respect, that just to throw out some names, if any of our viewers would ever like to look up or learn more about some of these female Nigerian leaders, or anybody out there?
Oh, I know a lot of them, but no names is coming up to mind right now. But I know a lot of them that I watch. I like to watch on YouTube. I like to watch even after I moved here, that I like to look, but I cannot think of their names right now.
That's okay. Just Google strong female Nigerian.
Yes.
It sounds like you will find a lot of them. So that's good to know. When you have to do a report for class, talk about Nigeria. And strong leaders, female leaders.
Yes, please do.
So I love how you're able to process and reflect on what you have and have learned in your culture, but also trying to meld that into who you are here in the United States, and also who you are as a woman, what you're trying to teach your son. But I know, Favour, just from knowing you for so many years, how you're always taking information and trying to process and learn from that and grow. And I think that that's something that's really important, that I wanted for people and our students to hear, is that every time, even as you're growing, there's education that's coming to you, even though it might not just be from school, but just from outside, you can learn. And it's a process that you're taking that information, reflecting on yourself, learning about that, and growing and changing in different ways. So for students who are in a time when they're learning more about themselves, learning about the world, learning to be an adult, do you have any advice on how to become more centered with your identity, or to become more comfortable in your own skin? Because you've been doing that since you've left. But just anything you can share, because I think sometimes it's scary, right? Feeling that I don't know if I can feel this way or be this way, but you're doing it. So what would you like to share with everybody?
I just when I came, I was scared. I was anxious all the time because I was trying to pass school. Nursing school is difficult as it is, and I was trying to just get used to everything around me. And luckily, we had your office. We had your office. We had your home as a safe place. This was so I'll say any time as an international student you move to a new place, the international office is your safe abode. That's the first place you want to go to. When I had any problem, I went to the international office. And we had your home too, where, even as an international student, you see other international students on campus, but everybody's in a hurry. We're trying to make it to a class, or you see people I had friends who had these, it's like a translator, like a little calculator, and you're always putting stuff there to translate. Maybe they were looking for where they were going. People is so much anxiety. So when you find the international office, and that's a place for you to go and ask questions, or just to go meet other international students. Every international student I met, that I was not met, but that I was able to build relationship with, was at your place. It was a more relaxed environment. I met people from all over the world, and I was able to share their experience. And even though we're different, most of my best friends now from Saudi Arabia, from Japan, from South Korea, these are Sri Lanka. These are places I didn't know when I was in Nigeria. So those are your resources around. Other international students, build relationship with them. Find a safe place. I mean, I wish we still have your house right now. But that was a place.
Glad you had so many good memories at my house. That makes me happy.
I do. That was where I was able to build relationship and talk to other people. That way, that because I was scared before I could actually make the change or transition, even in my thought process, and to do everything I wanted to do, because there was this fear of that you're not supposed to do this. From our culture, you're not supposed to do this. This is not something you're supposed to be doing as a woman. You're not even supposed to ask this. You're not even supposed to say this. But it's okay. Take all that in. But if it's what you really want to do, one at a time, and find someone to talk to. Find other international students to talk to. And they don't even have to be from your country. They don't have to be from your country. We might not be from the same country, but I tell you, we share the same experience. We're going through the same thing. We understand. I had students who didn't even speak English at all, but we understood each other so well.
So what I'm hearing, and some good advice, is just wherever you are to find some support. An office that's in student affairs, whether it be comes to global engagement, I am here to support you. Maybe joining some different associations and clubs on campus, and finding a mentor, but just somehow finding a safe space for dialogue and to find support.
Yes, through that. And whatever you want to do it. The freedom is in doing it. You won't know how good it feels until you do it.
Yes.
And still it doesn't make you, it doesn't alienate you from your from who you are. It just makes you better. Change is good. Change is always good.
Yes. You're so wise, Favour. You are always so wise. So speaking of your wisdom, is there some sort of idiom, a proverb, or some kind of common piece of advice that elders share with young people that you think would be good to share with all of us today?
Okay, yes. I actually found an idiom. I was and it's not from my tribe, it's from the Igbo tribe. This is another tribe in Nigeria, the Igbo. They're one of the three major tribes. And this adage says, if a child washes his hand, he could eat with kings. So if a child washes his hands, he could eat with kings. And this simply means if you respect greatness, you will be great.
Oh, wow. That's a beautiful one to share. Yeah.
But it's a common saying that if you know how to relate with people, you would go places.
Right, you'll be okay.
Yes, you'll be okay.
Yes. Oh, thank you for sharing that one. And is there anything else about Nigeria that you think would be nice for others to know that we haven't talked about, or something else you'd like to share?
Yes. Like I had to, I hear the news, I still watch the Nigerian news, and I want to talk about like the negative things that I've seen about Nigeria online. One is the fact that Nigeria is an unsafe place to visit because of the the few insurgencies that had happened in the northern part of the country. But I wanna say this. This is true. Those things happen, but it's just a part of the country, is the northern part of the country that this happened at. We other part of the country hear it just like on the news, just like we do here. And it's a group of extremists, like Islam extremists, the things in that part of the country, they all need to be Muslims, and they're normal. People are not free to practice their religion. But it's not the entire country. There's so many safe places you can visit in Nigeria. And so these are just few insurgencies that, had happened, and it's curtailed to that part of the country. So please, Nigeria, it's safe to visit, and there are many cool places you can visit in Nigeria.
So tell me about some of those cool places. Where would you recommend that someone goes to Nigeria? Where should they go?
Yeah, so if you want to visit Nigeria, I've visited, and I love Abuja. Abuja is the federal capital of Nigeria now. It used to be Lagos, but now it's Abuja. It's a relaxed environment. There are so many things you can see. You can see there. It's very good and very safe. All our government officials live in Nigeria. So please, that's a good place to visit. Then another one I saw is Calabar. I visited Calabar. It's a very good place, natural. They have a lot of natural game reserves and resources there. It's a cool vibe, safe. It's a safe city. Please do. And if you're more of the businessy kind, you like New York, you will like Lagos. We have everything is in Lagos. So go to Lagos, visit Lagos. They have the beach, all kinds of things you would enjoy. The food, the music. Nigeria has good food. Good
food.
Nigeria has good food, good people, compassionate people. People that we have good people who they just love to meet new people. They're kind, they're good neighbors, so you should go visit. And we have food, our basic food, like it's rice. We eat a lot of rice. I always have rice in my freezer. And we have this favorite dish called jollof rice. So jollof rice, everywhere you go, or if you live in a big city around here, go to a Nigerian restaurant. Just Google. I went to Chicago and I Googled Nigerian restaurants in Chicago. Yes, and I wanted my son to eat it. I wanted to, try and it's really, really good. So it's just your basic things, rice, vegetable, and some spices. So please try it out. Nigeria has a lot of good things. Just like I said, be open-minded. Don't limit your source of knowledge to just social media. Meet people. Maybe that's why we're here. Let's meet and have. They said, let's meet and have impact. They said change is built upon impact. It's better to meet me one-on-one than to Google me online.
Yes, true. Good point.
And another thing is that Nigerians are fraudulent. I know, there are people that fraud people across the world, and I read those things online too. But no, Nigeria is a home to lots of people who make honest living. People who work hard for their money. So these are just few bad ones that are making the country look bad. Please, Nigeria are good people. We're hardworking people. We love and we want the best for other people. Don't let those few people change your mind or how you view Nigerians. And if you ever see me, say hi, talk to me. I like to meet you. I like to learn about your culture as well.
Favour, you're so sweet. Favour, I really enjoyed talking to you. I always feel that every time I talk to you, I always learn something new. And as I said, I'm so proud of you, and I'm really and very grateful for you taking this time to talk with us. And also, I'm just so happy that others can learn more about Nigeria from you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Dr. Aquino. I appreciate you.
I love you.
I love you too. It's good to see you.
Yes. So everybody, thank you for listening. We will have more conversations across borders coming up. So just take a look on the website to see what country we're going to learn about next. Take care and goodbye.
Bye-bye.